What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kind of Funny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Now, Greg, if I said anyone can cook to you, wouldn't you? What movie do you think that's from?
I mean, well, you incepted the idea into my head. You started the show and you said, "Oh, I thought it was anyone could cook from Ratatouille." So now I would think that if you would have said anyone had cooked and not mentioned Ratatouille, I would have struggled, but I would have gotten there in the end.
But what if I said it? Pronounced it though. You have to say how he pronounced it.
What if I said it with my traditional French accent? Anyone can cook.
That's your Italian accent, but it's just your accent for anybody. We've noticed.
Anyone can cook.
It's very. We all tense up because we know there's always someone new watching a show. So when you go, "What about my blank accent?" and you use it, we all go, "Oh God, they're not going to understand. He's Italian, and this is his thing."
Everyone, you go look at this, Rahul. Look at me and tell me what do you think this? Grecian god or Italian cook? It's just in the back, just a cook.
I'm just a cook.
White cook.
White cook? You think I'll be white?
Of course, that is our guest, the one, the only. You know him from The Haunting of Bly Manor. You'll soon know him from Midnight Mass. You know him from iZombie. You know him from Gears of War. It's Rahul Kohli. Hello, Rahul.
Yeah.
I got more credits. That used to be a shorter intro.
I know, right?
Hell yeah.
But, you duped Hollywood, and that's what we love about you. They look past the Twitter account and how outrageous you are, and they're able to do that. You were on We Have Cool Friends last year, which feels like it was 2 days ago, but it was a long time ago. And your conversation was there that you're eventually going to leave Twitter. Where are we at with that? How are you feeling about that?
I was on a hiatus for vacation, but a Revan tweet brought me out of hiding.
Usually does.
Yeah. The Star Wars drew me back in. But,
yeah, of course.
But it's an ongoing discussion for sure.
Okay. We'll have that conversation once we introduce, of course, the Hispanic heartthrob, Texas treat, Latino heat, clicking heads and ripping them to shreds, the globe trotting, headshotting from Twitch.tv, Andy Cortez.
I have once again another Major Melon Zero. Can't get enough of these, Greg Miller. Can't get enough.
Yeah. Can we switch intros?
Yeah, sure. You want to be the Hispanic heartthrob Texas treat, and you want him to be from Haunting of Bly Manor?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I've got more credits there, mate. That's crazy.
Nailed it.
I take that back.
Oh, well, okay.
No good deed goes unpunished.
And of course, Forbes 30 under 30, a.k.a. the second best baby blues in San Francisco, a.k.a. the verified one at Tim Gettys.
Let him host. I'm very excited for this one, Greg, because you said you have a good show planned, and I don't know what you're talking about. And that usually leads to some exciting things or a lot of face palming, and I'm in the mood for either. So let's get
I will tell you right now, or I'm going to give you the housekeeping, then we'll get right into it. That's right. I'm going to get to it live chat. You're always, when are they going to do it? When are they with a countdown? I'll give it right away. But when we're going to come out of it, and I have a feeling Nick's going to enjoy it, but I think Tim's going to have a huge problem. All right, and then there's going to be some role playing involved. Rahul, if you have like a judge's robe and a gavel, now would be the time to get it, because we're gonna need that.
Okay,
he's got a prop closet as an actor.
Don't they let him keep all his things? You know what I mean? He's got like the souvenir closet.
Greg, how do you think props work during film and television? Do you think you just bring your own props?
What, they custom make him? They make him a judge's robe, all right, and then and also he's from merry old England, right? They got over there the wigs that we already talked about, where they get wet and you make a juice. Maybe he went to court one time and he found out that guess what, the forefathers or whatever are up there and they've got their wigs on and their thing and they're all like, "Oi, governor, hear ye, the bike belongs to Rahul." And he picked up the bike and he went with it. Maybe they were like, also it's like Mean Joe Green, "Here you go, kid." And they toss him the robes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually don't know what you mean on that one. I got lost.
That was a lot to unpack.
There's a lot of kind of funny references in there. Mean Joe Green from a Coke commercial that predates me and Nick. Like, I'm expecting you to have watched a lot of I Love the 70s/80s right there.
I love watching Tim's face when you get about 5 minutes into one of your rants, Greg. Because I'm along for the ride. We're surfing the waves together. Someone just threw me a White Claw, and we're going wherever you're going to go.
You know what I mean? You are a life preserver. You're keeping me afloat. Tim, as always, likes to be a fucking anchor around my neck. You know what I mean? Dragging me down.
Can I be one of those cool like Gilligan's Island life floats, the white ones that I couldn't possibly get in if I had to?
Oh, that's the only one I think of. That's the only thing I think of. What are you thinking of?
I was thinking like an actual, like a vest that you clip, like kids clip in, and then. But I like the ones with like where you have to try to figure out how to get your body into it, and by that time you've drowned.
Huh. No,
Rahul,
it's my favorite thing.
Excuse me, I'm the host of the show. Rahul, clear your mind. Shut your eyes and clear your mind, all right? I talk about a kid and a life preserver. What's the first film you think of?
Back to the Future.
Jaws is the right answer. I'm sorry, you failed on that one. You know?
I don't think Back to the Future could ever be the wrong answer.
I mean, it's got what's with the life preserver McFly jump ship. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's great.
Like if I would say, like, what's your favorite Tom Cruise vehicle, and you said Back to the Future, I'd be like, I'll allow it. I will allow that.
Timothy Gettys, you had something to say. What is it?
I was going to say is, we have guests on the show, our friends like Rahul, and, they probably hear Greg talk, do this whole intro. He's like, oh, it's probably a bunch of in-jokes I don't get because I'm not on the show.
Rahul's a fan. He watches the show sometimes.
Yeah, okay. My point that I'm making is, like, knowing the show, being on the show does not make any of us understand what Greg's saying anymore. Like you said, oh, it's a bunch of kind of funny inside jokes. I don't know that there was. It was like Andy in his small jacket. Sure, that's
Nick,
one thing.
You remember the British courts and the wigs and the juice? You made that up.
I do remember that. I remember Tim, I don't know if you're paying attention, but we bring up Mean Joe Green at least 10 times on every podcast.
No, Mean Joe Green was definitely that was
a good.
All right, everybody.
Everyone remember that one.
Here's what I want you all to
Let's
do.
come back next week.
If you're too young to remember this commercial, because again, Nick and I both are too young to remember this commercial. Pull over right now and call your parents and ask them about it, because they're gonna remember. They're gonna be like, yeah, the Coke commercial where he tossed the thing to it. And then Andy, why do you remember it?
Family Guy.
Exactly. Family Guy brought it back to relevancy as well. That's why Andy's always there for me.
Rahul, you
Nick?
can still leave if you want. You can still leave. It's not too late.
I asked you to go get your judge's robe. I don't know what's taking so long. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny podcast. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on these microphones twice a week, each coming to bullshit with each other about whatever it is they want to bullshit about. If you like that, you can head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where, of course, you can be watching the show live since you're a patron. You can get the show ad-free. You can write in to be on the show, and you can get the show with the exclusive post show we do each and every episode. However, if you have no bucks to toss us over on patreon.com/kindafunny, no big deal. You can get brand new episodes on youtube.com/kindafunny, roosterteeth.com, and podcast services around the globe twice a week. Once with just us, once with one of our friends, and have a good time and support us. Of course, there's ads and there's no post show, but you still get a good time. You still got all this great Mean Joe Green content.
Great time.
Andy, what I need you to do is go to the supercomputer you have in front of you and find out, Mean Joe Green, alive? Dead? Did he play for what? He played football. What? Steelers? Was he a Steeler?
Looks like Steelers from the
Steeler.
Family Guy clip that I'm
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Still alive. Still alive.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
74 years old. Wow, about to hit the old 75. Is 75 like an age thing? Do they do that?
No.
No.
Not a
quarter
thing.
of a century, 3/4 of a century.
Because like midlife crisis is
The good
40.
old
Like you say, like
3/4 of a century.
like you say, like you're over the hill at the age of 40, or quarter
I
life
don't know if we'd
crisis
say that.
25.
Yeah, 40 is the age for over.
I don't know what
I
you
don't
call
think 40 would
75
be.
though. Is that a thing? Bicentennial or something?
75 is just where you're allowed to fart wherever you want and no one can judge you.
Andy,
You get a notice from the government.
Bicentennial
Congratulations.
You 200, or you've done 100 twice.
We got a great energy today. Some housekeeping for you, of course, ladies and gentlemen. There's a new episode of The Blessing Show up on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. It's all about dreams. He did a whole bunch of it in dreams. It's one of the few things we do at Kinda Funny that is strictly a video property. Please go check it out, and then head over to youtube.com/kindafunny to keep up with the Invincible and Falcon and the Winter Soldier reactions we are doing each and every week. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Willie D. Billums, Julian the Gluten-Free Gamer, Mick at Denanobiologist, DJ Kento, Steve Powers, Kieran O'Donnell, and Tom Bach. Today, we're brought to you by BetterHelp and Babbel. But I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's start with a very special episode of the Kinda Funny podcast. It's one that's going to hurt some people, but it's something we need. So, Rahul, I need you you've, of course, been our friend for a long time. Mm-hmm. Before you were famous and, when you had a lot of free time and nobody was booking you on stuff, you used to listen to the show. You knew a lot about us. You understand?
He was really famous.
You know what I mean?
Then.
No. Back when he first met me, he was not famous.
Right. That's
you know what I mean? I was surprised you even let him talk to me, because I was actually kind of mad at you, Nick, for letting him come onto the stage to talk to me at San Diego Comic-Con.
Well, I mean, a lot of people know this. I mean, I'm a great talent, like a scout of talent, right? I spot him out,
Yeah.
Is that what they call it? I was trying to get it over to Tim for a second there, where I was like, remember when I discovered young Tim, just dug him out, wiped him off, took a little rag, doing one of these things, and now look at him. Look at him in that beautiful bomber jacket.
Like, Greg
did say that. Greg did
Yeah,
say that
your
Nick is
parents
an
used to do that.
ally, and Nick is always on his side. I don't know if Nick was with Greg right there through any of that story. I don't know if he was on the same.
It doesn't matter
wavelength.
because what happens is I toss Nick the old medicine ball and he catches it.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if he's on a
Right.
speedboat or if he's in a gymnasium.
I
He's
think
going to
in that- I
understand he
think,
has to do
Greg,
something.
I think in that instance, you tossed me the medicine ball, and it was just a little too heavy for me to carry, and it just went right to the ground, right to the ground on that one.
So,
the old
Rahul-
noodle just stopped working.
We know you love all of us equally. You've been a kind of funny supporter, a best friend for a long, long time. You've been our friend for a long, long time. But today I will need you to be completely objective and act as judge and jury. Are you prepared for that?
Andy. Oh, I have no bias. Sorry. Yes, I am ready to be
I
objective.
don't know.
Okay, good. Okay. Now, Andy, I look to you, and the next question for you is, in this court of law, who do you want to represent? Tim Gettys or Nick Scarpino?
Oh, he's gonna pick Tim. It's easier to pick Tim. I'm not gonna hold it against you if you pick Tim. It's easier to defend anything, whatever he's gonna ask. It's okay,
Tim.
but that means I get Kevin as my lawyer.
Tim, no, wait, no. I'm gonna represent Nick because Greg said that this might be easier for Nick, and it might bother Tim a lot. So I feel like maybe things are weighed towards Nick in this situation. I'm gonna choose to defend Nick in this situation.
Okay, then I'll be I don't choose, but I will be defending my brother in arms, Timothy Robert Gettys, in this official case. We have a complaint, not even a complaint, but a question that I think can only be answered in the Court of RAHUL. Rahul, please play the Court of RAHUL jingle. Thank you, Rahul. Nailed it.
I thought something was going to play.
No, I said for you. I thought you were gonna bring music. I thought I prepped you on this. I said get a robe.
He does it.
There you go. That's
Sweet
Perfect.
perfect.
Okay, great. Nailed it. King Vin writes into patreon.com/kindafunny and says, I think it's time to have a real discussion. Is Nicholas Scarpino officially a bigger gamer than Timothy Robert Gettys?
Wow.
Today, we will hear cases from both sides of the aisle here. We will let, of course, both defendants speak to their gaming skills. And
This
at the
isn't gonna
end,
go well.
Rahul Kohli will be the one who decides who is the bigger gamer, Nick or
Order.
Tim.
Order.
Thank you. So I'm sorry, sir, I'd now turn the court over to you.
You have the floor.
All right, now, Nick, you have a question.
Yeah, I'd like. Do we have a court? We need a court stenographer, and we also need one of those the people that draw in the court. Can I be the guy that draws in the court?
Can you be the person who draws in the court?
Oh, well, I feel like Andy. I mean, Andy can be the guy that draws. He's a natural pick, but he's going to be defending me. I don't want his attention like split between his artistic endeavors and then the analytical part of his brain. So, I mean, I guess Kevin, we could let Kevin do the sketches.
Here's
and see
the
what happens
thing.
at the end
No,
of this.
exactly. I don't want to tell Judge Rahul how to run his court. But I think he can decide. And I am seeing, of course, people in the chat are asking if they can be jury. They could be jury. We could do it that way. Of course, we could actually ask them to draw their own sketches too and tweet them at Rahul.
That's
and
a
then Rahul
much-
could- okay.
It's a much
Who's
smarter
the
idea.
executioner?
But again, this is up to Judge Rahul.
I mean, if we've got like if Matt Ferguson's in the chat
Excuse
right now,
me, sir. This is up to Judge Rahul.
I apologize.
Thank you. I think that chat should play jury.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to move forward with that.
Okay.
Also, I just watched like a bunch of serial killer documentaries, so I saw a ton of courtroom drama, and every judge sat like this. So don't take this as me not wanting to be here. This is me in character.
You're playing
I
a role.
appreciate
You're an
that.
actor.
See?
Got it.
This is why I brought an actor.
You're
in.
an actor. Yeah.
I do also appreciate that you equate to whatever we're about to do as serial killer trials. That feels pretty right. I'm not gonna lie.
Andy, would you like to open the floor, or would you like me to open the floor?
I will open the floor.
All right, Judge,
Well,
you turn back over.
judge can decide. Andy can open the floor.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good job, Dutch.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is my honor to bring you today a true gamer sitting right there in this white room with his gamer couch and his gamer artwork on the walls, everybody.
Objection. That's just a lawn chair, Your Honor. That's not a gamer art at all. That has nothing to do with it. He doesn't even have hue lights.
Your Honor, badgering the witness. Badgering the
Sustained.
witness.
Remove that from the
Thank you.
records.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Give me your so screwed.
We have
No,
somebody
I
named...
just favored Greg.
Oh, thank you.
So wait, what
We
got
have-
removed from the record?
We have
Switch
somebody
back to your
here...
intro from the record.
We have somebody in the court who has done the impossible, who has become a PC gamer on a PlayStation 5. I urge you to find somebody who is more hardcore of a gamer. I see, Your Honor, you're a little confused right now. Nick Scarpino, over the course of quarantine, has become a tried and true video game player. Addicted, some would say. At night, looking for his fix. Looking for his Warzone fix, more importantly. Call of Duty Warzone. Nicholas Scarpino will play Call of Duty Warzone on his PlayStation 5 with a mouse and a keyboard. Isn't that wild?
I think the judge's face says it all. You know what I mean? That was a grimace. That doesn't work in favor of you, Mr. Cortez, Counselor Cortez.
It's impressive that this tried and true gamer is looking for new ways to challenge himself out there in the war zone. Not only that, Your Honor, also plays with the mouse inverted vertically. Really fucking weird. I know. It's really bizarre.
I'm just gonna stop you there for a second.
Left that part out. Could have left that part out.
And maybe Greg or can aid me with this. So if Nick is playing with a mouse and keyboard on a console, that means that predominantly he is playing other individuals that will have pads. Is that true?
Negative, sir, because we have crossplay
on. Does he have crossplay activated?
Whenever because he plays with me, who was on PC. We are playing against gamers of all kinds, right?
Okay,
we are playing people.
That's all I wanted to know.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. We have somebody who's been addicted to it, everybody. Again, it is 11:30 p.m. and I am in a Discord call with Snowbike Mike, shooting the shit. Nick will hop in, looking for his fix. Hey, y'all hopping in or what's going on? It is 11:30 on a Tuesday. It is 10:48 on a Wednesday. Nick wants to play at all hours. It's Saturday. I'm thinking, you know what? He's probably going to be spending time with the wife. Maybe they're going to watch a movie. No, Nick is there in the Discord at 9:42 saying, hey, if y'all are hopping on, let me know. Like, I'd love to get some in because I want to level up this certain weapon because I need this newest scope. Nick is all in on video games. It's become a lifestyle for him. And I think you'll see that the person that that Greg is defending, maybe not on the same wavelength, Your Honor. I'll sit down now.
Thank you for that.
So far.
If I may, Your Honor, if I may.
Please, Greg.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is an embarrassment that this question is even being asked of you. I'm sorry that your podcast has been wasted today with this insane, inane, disingenuous conversation. All right. Is Tim Gettys less a gamer than Nick Scarpino? No, sir. No, lady. No person. Tim Gettys is a gamer through and through. His years of support for the video game industry cannot be overlooked. And then to sit here, is he officially a bigger gamer than Tim? Under no circumstance is Nick Scarpino a bigger gamer than Timothy Robert
Leading the witness,
Gettys.
Your Honor. Leading the witness.
I'm not even talking to the witness. I'm talking to the jury, counselor.
I feel like I'm witnessing this. I felt like I was led.
Sustained. Continue, Greg.
Here's what we're going to talk about right now. We're going to make a big deal about Nick Scarpino playing with a mouse and keyboard on his PlayStation 5.
It's huge.
Does this sound like a big gamer to you? No. This sounds like an individual who's lost, confused, and doesn't understand how video games work. This is a man who has talked for roughly 8 months about buying a $7,000 PC, and he has not done it. He has not improved his setup one bit. Your Honor, I'd love to, Nick, if I may, Your Honor, may I ask Nick a question?
Yeah. No.
You're Nick. You're not
Leading the witness.
Yeah. Well, I haven't got there yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you may ask.
Nicholas Scarpino, who paid for your PlayStation 5?
I do not recall that at this time.
May I remind you, you're under oath?
I believe I received my PlayStation 5 for free from either the company or
You're
PlayStation.
going to tell me that this man who won't invest a single cent of his own money into video games, hands down, sir, won't invest a single dollar or cent into his own video game addiction is a bigger gamer than Timothy Robert Gettys. Timothy, will you please explain to me your PC gaming setup, which is also brand new as you've now committed to playing on it?
Greg, I'm gonna stop you there. We're not going to allow cross-examining at the moment. This is just the opening.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Of it. We will.
I don't understand how this this video game court works. I'm sorry. I apologize.
This is British. This is British law. So
okay.
you read your opening statements to the juries and they understand what they're judging.
All right, I
Then
can wrap
we
up
will
my opening statement.
we will have Greg and Nick, and both
Sure.
you and Andy will be able to question them.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today we will definitively prove that Timothy Robert Gettys, the host of the Kinda Funny Games cast since its inception, is still a bigger gamer than Nicholas Scarpino, both in terms of the money spent, the games played, and of course, his love of video games. Ask yourself right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on the bus, you're driving in the car, look over there at that SUV. You see it? What do you see in the back seat? You see some pudgy little kid playing Fortnite, playing Minecraft on an iPad. Is that person a bigger gamer than you? Because you have a job and responsibilities to go out and do. You play as many things as you can. You're playing PlayStation Plus game. You're playing over there on the Xbox Game Pass. You're playing things off Steam sales. No, of course not. That person just has no life. And today we'll prove that, yes, Nick plays a lot of Call of Duty. And yes, we're proud of Nick for playing some video games. But Tim is the bigger gamer. Nick is the bigger loser.
Wow.
Right here, I'm going to lean over to Nick and do like that.
Yeah, you both have legal pads. You've been jotting things down.
This is where I go like this. Andy asked him who got his PS5 one.
Who's next? Who's next?
I don't know. Yeah, Your Honor, we need in between this stuff. I think you need to tell us what to do because we don't know how your court works.
Okay.
British law.
So
yeah.
what we're going to do now is I'm going to allow Nick to be on the witness stand.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to let Andy cross-reference.
Fantastic. Thank you, Your Honor. Nicholas Scarpino. You're looking pretty tired. Long night playing games?
That is yes. It was a long night after our stream yesterday from 11 to 2, in which we got a W in Warzone.
We did.
I played last night with Mario Not Bros and Lil Jerry Seinfeld, and we ended up getting a W for our last game as well. And
Amazing.
That's two wins in Mini Royale.
Amazing. And let's make it 3 today, Your Honor. How about that? Let's make it 3 wins today. Nicholas
Young
Scarpino.
man, where is this going?
Nicholas Scarpino.
To the top of the
Your Honor,
charts
he didn't
there,
answer
Your Honor.
you. He just kept talking to Nick. I think that's it.
Third
contempt.
W, Your Honor.
No disrespect, Your Honor. This is my court, okay? Nicholas Scarpino.
Bold move.
You used to somewhat host a movie news show, a TV news show.
Mm-hmm.
You read a lot of articles. You read a lot of news. You kept up to date with the latest happenings in the entertainment world, correct?
I did. That is correct. It was called Screencast.
Screencast, yeah. Good show, by the way.
Thank you.
What up, Screencast?
There's
Thank
already
you.
lies happening.
Order.
Tim, fuck you, Tim.
Objection.
Order.
Has nothing to do with Kev.
Order. I enjoyed that
who's
show,
the
Nick.
judge? Who's saying order? You're saying order, and you're the counselor.
I enjoyed that show, Nick. It was a fun show.
Great job.
After listening to that show, I would also like to read a lot of articles on the latest happenings, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's happening with this movie? I heard this movie was good. This movie not so great. This movie a troubled development, right? What's going on with this movie? This TV show might get canceled. Ooh, it's not looking too good, Nick, huh? I would read a lot of that news, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't watch those movies, though. I didn't watch those shows.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make me a movie and show lover? Or does that make me a consumer of entertainment news?
Is that a question for me, or is that rhetorical?
To the jury.
Okay.
Chat, what do you think? Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Chat.
Good job, Chad.
Thank you, Chat. If I'm reading news every day and keeping up with the industry, but not playing the things except for getting Spirits and Smash Brothers, that game's 20 years old. Correct, Your Honor? 20 years old? Super Smash Bros?
I believe
Ultimate.
so.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Your Honor. On the
Oh,
Nintendo
see-
Switch.
They've been churning out the same product for decades. Who can tell by this point? Order in the
A
court,
real
by the
gamer
way.
can.
Order in the court, by the way. Everybody, order.
And
in the
also
court.
objection. Isn't Nick playing Call of Duty? How long has Call of Duty been around?
Order in the court. Well, Nick is also playing a Game of the Year candidate called Control right now. If you recall.
What?
Greg
I'm
Miller.
sorry. Objection. What? Your Honor. What year? What? Can we ask what year that was a Game of the Year contender?
That would have been 2019.
2019.
Okay, just make sure we're current.
Thank you, Your Honor. I
Really
mean,
great-
at
really
this
great game,
point,
by the way.
at this point, the question is, what have you done for me lately, right? What have you done for me lately, Your Honor? Is the question
have
that
I
I'm
done?
posing to you. What have you done for me lately, Rahul?
Wow. Okay. A bold strategy. Turn it on him.
I don't feel like you've maximized. I do not feel like I've learned enough about whether Nick is a true gamer or not.
Case dismissed. Your Honor.
All I've learned from this is that Smash Brothers is 20 years old.
Case dismissed. Thank you. You made my point exactly, Your Honor. I'll let Greg talk to his witness.
Greg
Greg is going to examine Nick.
Okay, fantastic.
Now, close on or close off for this examination, Greg?
I mean, we should keep our clothes on. I think YouTube has strict rules about that. Sadly, you know what I mean.
Do
But
they?
afterwards, you can call me on a private call. We'll see what we can do. You know what I mean.
Fantastic.
Nick, the
Well, no,
internet's
we're
kind
ju-
of choppy. Are you downloading the latest Apex update? It seems like you might be having.
Yeah, well, I'm trying right now. I'm trying to figure out if I have to delete the Uncharted collection because it wasn't playing well on my PlayStation 5.
Right, unfortunate.
Just to make room
Does
for
Uncharted
Overwatch.
not work with a mouse and keyboard?
No, that does not work with mouse and keyboard. Actually, I wouldn't know because every time I go into the settings to try to invert my controller, the game borks on me. So I've had to. We're gonna have to figure that out. Control, great game though.
Go
Great
into the
game.
settings. What a learned man. What a learned man.
You're
I am-
enjoying Control.
I am
Very much so.
completely objective here. I have not sided with Nick
Sure.
or Tim. I will say, however, it doesn't look good for Nick when there is no chroma lighting in the background when we discuss who's a bigger gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly my point, Your Honor. And thank you, Nick, for joining us here and coming to be on trial. You talked about being tired last night and how much Call of Duty you've been playing. Can you tell me a little bit about how many trophies you've unlocked in Call of Duty?
Trophies. Real gamers
Yeah.
don't care about trophies. They care
No,
about
I find that
W's.
quite different, you know
they
what I
care
mean?
about W's, my friend.
Sure. Well, I think it's just one of those things, of course, when we're talking about your gamer cred, obviously being able to show something from that is pretty important. And as I go to psnprofiles.com/Nick Scarpino, of course, there is nothing here. It says, no trophies. Of course, you've privatized your trophies. You're hiding something here.
Yeah, I don't want to. And again, I don't want to flaunt it in people's faces. I'm not about trying to prove to people that I can just waste hours and hours and hours trying to grind trophies in games that people don't care about. I play games that matter. I play the game that matters. And to answer your questions earlier about what games, how long Call of Duty's been around. Oh, that's been around for a couple decades now. But Warzone's only 2 years old, and it is the battle royale of choice.
The other thing I'm noticing here on your profile is that you're the co-founder and host of Kinda Funny Vids.
That was stolen directly from Tim's profile. So
No, I'm afraid I'm well aware, Your Honor, of my client's profile.
Mr.
There's
Miller,
Kinda Funny Vids.
Mr. Miller, I'm going to stop you there.
Sure.
In this court, I have the firm belief that a gamer is not defined by their trophies or achievements.
Thank you.
And I would like the jury to strike that, and we will not be taking that into consideration.
Thank you for
Okay,
removing that.
fair enough. You're
evidence.
fair.
Appreciate
You're
that.
fair and honorable, and I understand that. And I respect you. Away, Governor. Webster's dictionary, of course, defines a gamer as a person who plays video games or participates in role-playing games. Nick, over and over again, you just said you play the game, Warzone. I think by definition, you're not a gamer, a person who plays video games, plural games. Now, you have a litany of excuses for why you can't play Uncharted, why you haven't finished Control, why it took you so long. And remind me again, I'm sorry, Last of Us, you streamed that in completion. You played through that entire thing with me, right?
I did. The Last of Us, yes, we did. We did play to completion.
Tell me again the character's name, the little boy that meant so much to Ellie, who after he ate some beans went crazy. What was his name?
Nobody remembers that kid's name, first of all. Second of all, there's
A
two
masterpiece
characters.
of video games.
There's
A masterpiece
Joel-
of video.
Yeah, Joel, Ellie, and the beans. Those are the main three characters. The last.
Does anyone remember their name? Because was it Sam
Kevin?
and Daniel?
Sam and
Tim,
The
no one
brothers?
asked you any questions. No one asked you any questions. Don't worry about
Tim,
it.
you're incriminating yourself.
Greg,
I
Greg,
love
Greg,
this episode.
To,
This is
Greg,
great. This is
to answer your
fantastic
question
for
as
everyone.
to what games I've played lately, and you're right. I don't play a litany of games like everyone else. But the games I do play that I choose to play, I play to completion. For instance, I just finished and beat almost perfectly, with the exception of one Taduki that I wasn't supposed to get, Mario 3D World. And that took me the Suzuki. It took me 4 weeks to get, and I accidentally grabbed the Tanuki that I wasn't supposed to grab, which is unfortunate. I have to go back and redo it.
Nicholas, how many video games have you purchased on your PlayStation 5?
Personally, or with Tim's credit card?
Personally.
Oh, that's maybe
Nicholas, can you show me your Xbox Series X?
I believe Tim has it right now because it was.
Nicholas, is it true or false that Kevin had to try to dig out a dock because you didn't have a dock for your Switch, and he had to bring that over there so you could understand how to stream it?
That is false.
Your Honor,
Kevin told me he had one for me, but I wanted my own, so
Your
I
Honor,
ordered one.
Nick Scarpino is known for loving to play games on the go. A dock was never a thing he wanted because he likes playing his Switch games in bed.
Noted.
Lies. Everything you said was a lie. Nick's not known for playing games on the fucking go. Not in bed. Can you imagine Nick in bed with his wife? No.
They're trading Pokemon, Your Honor. They're trading Pokemon.
Gotta catch them all. Your
Nick,
Honor.
Nick, if you don't mind me asking, I'm sorry to stop you right there. Who developed Hades?
Hades?
Yeah.
Oh, that is.
You're a big. You play games on the go so much. Obviously, it was all over Switch. People were
I'm
really
sorry.
into it.
I didn't. I was too busy playing Dead Cells. I'm
Supermassive
sorry.
Games, was it?
What is
Your Honor?
That's
I'll
correct.
take Your Honor. Whatever you
Super
say
giant,
is
super giant.
We could
Okay,
say
so no one knows the answer to that.
No, we all
So
knew.
everyone.
Of course, Control made by Remedy. What's one of the other games Remedy's made, Your Honor? Or I'm sorry, not Your Honor. You're on the trial, Nick.
Is this a test of my general knowledge or a test of whether or not I spend time playing?
It's the test of are you a gamer? Again, no one's
I actually
question.
think that this is a fair line of questioning. The answer was Max Payne, the young man. What we are going to do
Alan
here
Wake.
is that we're actually going
I was going
to
to say Alan Wake actually.
we will at one point ask a same standard set of questions to both Tim and Nick as a head-to-head quiz where they both answer. To that will be after the crossword missing.
I like this.
But I think it's time to call Tim to the stand.
I'm ready.
Andy,
Timothy Gettys.
Mhm.
How you doing, big dog?
I'm doing all right.
Doing great.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking through your library lately.
Wow.
Your
Exposed.
Quiet down, Nick.
your supposed wife and confidant sent me screenshots of all the games you've been playing lately.
Your Honor, Tim does not have a wife. He is in fact engaged. I'd like that on the record, and I sincerely doubt he.
I think he meant Kevin, but I'm not quite sure.
Yes, I was talking about Kevin.
Who's on trial?
That's hilarious.
Your Honor, this is one of those distinctions here in the States. We have work wives, and Kevin is Tim's work wife.
Exactly.
Noted.
Thank you.
What was your game of the year last year, Tim Gettys?
Game of the year last year was in fact Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Mm-hmm.
Good game.
Remake
huh?
of a game, huh?
Last of Us 2, very close behind. Hades, very close behind that.
A lot of summer
Not
singles.
very close behind.
Lot
A
of-
little farther.
A lot of summer singles we're naming here. You know what I
Tim,
mean?
that,
Your Honor.
that was a dangerous move to omit a certain game when this chair is in frame.
Correct.
I'm the judge of this court.
Correct.
I personally respect.
with Raul.
I respect my client here and his honesty and his fervor and his fact that he would never
Mr. Miller.
pander. He would never pander.
I
Mr.
mean,
Miller, will you sit down?
Sit down, Mr. Miller. Thank you, Your Honor. Just such a travesty, Your Honor, that the person I'm questioning right now was not on the first video we made in quarantine, where me, Imran Khan, Blessing Adeoye Jr., and one Nick Scarpino all reviewed Doom Eternal.
Great game.
Phenomenal game, by the way. Loved it.
Thank you.
Perfect game.
Improved on everything they needed to. Improved on everything. Rahul's a dev suddenly. Rahul's a developer. Tim, who were the alien race in the Outer Wilds, a game that everybody thinks is the rightful game of the year winner, not Jedi Fallen Order?
Nobody likes this game for the story and all. Like, oh man, look at this flashback thing, and it was about the replayability, Your Honor. This wasn't a story-based game. It's far different than my question about The Last of Us.
Who was the leading lady in The Bachelorette season 42 or whatever?
Claire Crawley, and we didn't like her at all.
Your Honor, I could go on and on with questions like this, even though I only did one. but I could go on and
I'd
show
like you to do another one.
where his priorities lie. All right. When it comes to what game is out right now, does it matter what takes priority? Is it going to be the latest Bachelor and how he's a supposed racist and how that host said some bad stuff? I know all of my Bachelor knowledge from one person. My gaming knowledge, I know it from Nick Scarpino, Your Honor.
And Chris Anka.
Objective.
So many incorrect things.
That
said
is an
there.
objection across. Andy is. I would not put Andy on Kind of Funny Games Daily if all his gaming information came from Nick Scarpino, Your Honor.
It'd be a fun show.
Again, now, granted, a lot of my knowledge, we can cross-reference knowledge with Tim Gettys again, but we're talking about gaming knowledge from 10, 15, 20 years ago. What have you done for me lately? What's up next in the Battle Pass? What are they doing in season?
I wasn't on the Doom Eternal review because I did the Ori and the Will of the Wisps review that was right before that.
Burn.
You know, which is
Gotcha.
which
was one of how many
quality game.
Which was one of how many games you played in 2020?
Probably about. Well, I had a top 10 list, so there was at least 10.
At least 10.
At least 10 made that list.
Lucky we made it that short. Short.
Tim, Mr. Gettys, what was your favorite video game on the Dreamcast?
On the Dreamcast, it would have to probably be just to create. Power Stone. Going with Power Stone.
Ooh.
That's a
Mr.
good
Scarpino?
answer.
I'm not a Dreamcast fan, though. Admittedly, I've talked a lot of shit about the Dreamcast, but I have enough knowledge of it to know it's not for me, not my thing. Sonic Adventures games, not the best Sonic games. Gonna be real. Crazy Taxi, a lot of fun, but it was ported to a whole bunch of places. Seaman, get the hell out of here.
What about
Skies of Arcadia? Great, but it was
Mr.
also on
Scarpino?
GameCube later.
Your Honor, I believe during that time period, I was too busy going into my system BIOS to make sure I could maximize my memory to play games like XCOM, Fade to Black was an earlier game, and some of the earlier iterations of Wolfenstein and Doom.
Wow.
So maybe around I could be getting my time period wrong here,
Impressive.
but that might have been right around the time I switched over to hardcore PC gaming, and I was trying to get a Voodoo graphics card for my PC so I could play some Quake at my buddy's LAN party.
Thank you,
Timothy-
Mr. Scarpino. I appreciate that.
Timothy Robert Gettys. What graphics card does your rig have right now?
A 3080.
What have you been playing lately on that?
A bunch of random stuff. Little Warzone.
Interesting.
How you
So
like
you've
that?
been playing. You've been
How
playing
you
the
like that?
game. You've been playing the game.
I have played it. Yeah.
Phrasing on that one is
There was a stream,
I
Your
have
Honor. There was a
played it.
stream on Kind of Funny that I saw him play it on. You know what I mean? It was there.
Now, Your Honor, if I may approach the bench,
Sure.
Tim,
to have that defendant.
you know you have a standing invite to play with us every night, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
No.
But he doesn't
Thank you. No
want
further
to-
questions, Your Honor.
I don't
What
really
does
know
that
how
say
courts
about
work.
him, Andy?
and
This
I'm
isn't
confused.
the normal court. Don't worry.
Yeah, but even if it was or
Mr.
whatever.
Getty,
But I
you have the
do
floor.
want to say that like real court, fake court, British court, whatever. Like if this were the situation, if I was being called out for this, for being who's a bigger gamer between me and Nick Scarpino, I would get up there and like whatever it was, I would wait patiently, let all the people say whatever the fuck they have to say, and when it's my turn to talk, I would get up there and I would ask to be able to look the person in the eyes that's calling me out for this, and I would shame them publicly and fiercely.
And I would
Game
hold
of
you in
Thrones. Game of
contempt
Thrones.
of this court, young man.
Thank you,
No,
Your
I
Honor.
would
Tim, keep
scar
in mind,
them
the man.
for the rest
You have a
of their
camera. You have a
fucking
camera.
lives.
You have a camera in front of you, and the person who asked this question was King Vin. And I think for podcast content, the judge can let his rules go down as you eviscerate this man.
Just Kingman, I just wanted to be stated. The question of who is and isn't a gamer is first off the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Anytime anyone's ever questioned me about how many games I play, or what games I play, or how long I play said games, or like how effective I am at getting trophies and all that stuff, y'all can go fuck yourselves. I don't care. I don't care what you think about me
defensive.
and my gaming. I like games. Andy said it. I like to read about games. I like to know about games. I like to be informed about all the stuff. I like to play the games I like to play. I like to try things out that people recommend to me, even if it's not necessarily something of that I'm usually into. You know what I mean? Like to be open about this shit. Fuck this gatekeeping shit. Fuck all this stuff. Is Nick Scarpino a bigger gamer than me? The question of bigger. That I understand there's a debate about. But is Nick Scarpino a gamer? Absolutely. I stand there in solidarity with him. I've seen all the shit he's doing. Is it easy to make fun of him for playing Warzone a lot? Absolutely. Yes, it definitely is. But we see him every time we're doing multiplayer games. He does surprisingly well for games he's just picking up for the first fucking time. I totally get it. I am supportive of this. I love the fact that he's trying to play Uncharted, a game that he should have played 10 years ago because we've all fucking told him a million times.
Tried twice
Third
now.
time, isn't it?
But he's finally trying. It's going to happen. And I respect that. But if he didn't, that doesn't make him not a fucking gamer.
No, well,
It doesn't
hold
even
on,
make him
Tim.
not even a big gamer, small gamer. Who cares?
No,
Can,
hold on.
can
I think
we
he's being very.
Your
sporty
Honor,
with me.
this
Get
fucking-
order of this court, Your Honor. Get
Your
order of this
Honor.
court.
Firstly, can we have that entire rant from Mr. Gettys expunged from the jury, please?
Thank you. Thank you.
You made
Your
some good
Honor.
points.
Your Honor, this fucking Nick guy hasn't even finished God of War and Spider-Man. This fucking Nick guy is a faker.
Okay, I don't know where we are here, but I would like, Your Honor, if I can I approach the bench one more time, please?
Yeah.
Is it to talk to me or to talk to Tim like last time?
It's talk to you as a rebuttal.
Who
we
is
now have,
seeing
And you
this?
may approach.
we have new evidence regarding the question of my hue lights. I would like to present for Your Honor's adjudication the fact that I have a wife.
Throw it out.
I have a
Throw it
wife.
out. What? Tim's got a fiance. He's got lights down there. He don't care.
Tim has his own theater
These
room.
can be fucking tasteful, whatever the hell they want. Look, it's just white.
Tasteful.
No one cares.
There it is. Like, yeah.
Tasteful. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you want to get fucking scary,
The
Let's get
judge
scary, baby.
also had chroma lights behind them, so that was a bold move, Mr. Scarpino.
I'm just saying,
You
if I
should've
didn't, Doom Eternal, best game. Best game ever made.
Best game of all
guess
time.
who also has hue lights in her office? One Gia Tap Harris.
Your
But
Honor,
I will
we're
say,
not talking
to
about the
turn
family,
this
Your Honor.
around, Your Honor, to turn this around, I think that the matter of the hue lights, if we can all agree, if we could all agree on the hue light here, if you turn on the hue light and it doesn't fit, you must acquit. No, realistically speaking, who among us is the biggest gamer? Who among us, we can all agree,
Greg
has
Craig Miller.
the biggest amount of trophies, flaunts it everywhere he goes, won't shut up on Instagram about what he's doing at any given time right now. Do you see any hue lights in Greg's shot currently?
Your Honor, I'd like on the record I'm moving and I plan to get hue lights or some kind of lights in the background once I do.
Your Honor,
There's been a pandemic, Your Honor, and so I had to move my office
Your
from the
Honor,
office into the living room.
I would like to.
No one's happy with what's going on.
I would
here.
like to add that I'm planning to lose weight at some point. So we'll see when that happens. We'll see when that fucking happens.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Take that, Tim.
I want to say hue lights have nothing to do with being a gamer. I understand that a lot
in
of Twitch
2021 they do.
streamers
In
end
2021
up having
I'm
them.
going to ask you both a series of questions. You both answer,
Let's-
okay?
let's-
Just
Okay.
for the jury here. Okay, so firstly, if you guys had to pick your favorite game of all time, what would be your game of choice? And it cannot be Doom.
I mean, it's Super Smash Brothers.
Super
Ultimate.
Smash Brothers?
the game I probably connected with most that I wish they'd finish is probably Half-Life.
A quick question: did you play Half-Life, Alex?
No, I don't have a VR headset because the
Real
company won't
quick,
buy me one.
We have one at the office.
Wait,
That's how I
Nick?
reviewed it.
I have
Cool.
3 in my garage right now. Just a heads up.
Fair.
Why are you hogging all the VR headsets?
I told anyone that wanted one. I'm saving
Your
them.
Honor, Your Honor, Kevin's not on trial. Kevin in the storage of the VR headsets are not on trial.
Damn it. Unfortunate.
What is your favorite console of all time?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is Super Nintendo, but I think that if I thought harder about it, it would probably end up being the Switch just because of all the games you could actually play on it with the virtual console and all that shit as well.
Nick,
Say the N64.
I feel like I keep liking Nick's answers, but that's me being biased.
Which a judge should be, Your Honor. Which a judge
no,
should be.
that's the opposite of what a judge should
And,
do.
and if I may, I just wanted to again dialing it back to the LED argument, the hue light argument. I would have hue lights back there if it were permitted in this household. I'm not saying that hue lights are bad. I would just say there's a level of compromise you have to have when your wife runs your life.
Are
Remember,
either of
she
you
likes-
wearing anything branded right now? Are any of you wearing anything gaming branded?
Not
Sort
gaming
of.
branded, but I am wearing MeUndies from head to toe. My socks, my
they
underwear,
do
my
pay the
lounge
bills.
pants,
There you go, Pete.
and,
There you go.
and my shirt are all MeUndies.
I'm wearing an Achievement Hunter shirt. As
Wow.
you know, they are the #1 Let's Play channel on the internet.
Well,
Mm.
huh? Is that accurate? I don't know if that's accurate. Yeah.
Name
I think MeUndies makes you more
all
of a
the
game.
people at Achievement Hunter.
Right, every podcast he's ever heard. Yeah.
That actually probably does. That one goes to Tim, I think.
I love that Nick has nothing to lose, and like
Listen, I'm waiting for some.
He still wants this lighting argument to be had.
I'm waiting for someone to ask me the end-all be-all question of whether or not I think Tim is a bigger gamer than me.
I don't think we're going to take this to the jury. I'm going to throw this case out.
Oh,
I
wow.
think everyone's a gamer. I don't
Thank
think
you.
it can be defined by trophies or consoles or PC,
Wow.
It's like the Revan argument on Twitter.
except mobile gaming. No, I'm joking. You know,
I expect you to say you fucking pussies. I expect you to follow up that sentence with that.
Man, he
No, I
rules
do
with an
wanna
iron fist. He rules with an iron fist. The Judge Rahul.
Again, I want to add more to more of Tim's argument that you know what I was
You're
mentioning.
my
earlier.
lawyer.
Nick needs to play and beat God of War, man. Like God of War 2018.
like
you need to play and beat Spider-Man. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Well,
I don't know what's wrong with
here's what I will say. What constitutes a gamer more? Okay, playing God of War all the way through and enjoying it, and being with everyone else. Everyone jumps on the bandwagon, or having a terrible, terrible, terrible take that you defend until the day you die.
beating God of War.
That's a fucking really solid point there, Nick.
Exactly.
You are the biggest gamer.
I would for the record, as long as to break with character for a second, and I respect your honor. Thank you for
This
your opinion, and
character
Tim,
you've been so committed
Tim,
to.
and I respect Tim. You saying that we're all gamers, but I will go on record as saying, real talk. Tim is by far the bigger gamer when it comes to the two of us.
It's
All kidding
embarrassing
aside.
that is a statement
Not
that
even
needs to be
not even
said.
a question.
The fact that anyone thinks that it might embarrass me, that I might even lose to someone like Nick Scarpino, it's like I want everyone to know the vitriol and the hatred I have for this. Because this is real life. And look, I need to deal with this shit every once in a while. Imagine if I was a woman. Imagine being a woman having to be questioned about what every fucking thing they do or don't do. Fuck that shit, man. It's stupid nonsense. I don't like it at all. Period. Hard stop.
Having said that, Tim, if you really want to earn my respect, you will jump into the war zone with us tonight at 9 o'clock.
I understand
on
that,
Twitch.tv/Andy Cortez.
Nick, what you don't understand is The Circle Season 2 dropped its first 4 episodes tonight on Netflix.
What you don't understand.
Gamers can like other things. You know what I mean?
Tim,
Gamers can
Tim, I
have wide
threw-
tastes.
Tim, I threw the case out, but I still feel like you probably need to be sentenced a little bit.
A tiny bit.
Like community service was just a tiny, and I do think you should jump in on the war zone.
There you go.
Rahul, you want to join us? Could be fun.
No,
Oh
No.
shit. Okay.
Spoken like a true judge. Thank you so much, Judge Rahul.
leave
Ladies
my
and
court.
gentlemen, this is where we're going to say, hey, you know what's great? Patreon.com/kindafunny. You can go there, of course, to be part of the show, just like King Vin did. Go to hell. You can also go there and get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, Greg Way, let's hear from our sponsors. This episode of the Kinda Funny podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp Online Therapy. A lot of us take care of our bodies, but 2020 and 2021 have been tough. So we might also want to take care of our minds. There's a misunderstanding of what therapy is. It can be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be sitting around talking about your feelings. A lot of people battle with their temper or their stress is about to kill them, or they have depression, anxiety, PTSD, and the list goes on. If this is you, you can use therapy to get some tools that will make life easier. Spoilers, we film these after the show, and the second half of this show is all about mental health and work being online and the struggles and trials and tribulations that come with that. Of course, if you are ever struggling and you just need somebody to talk to, therapy is a great option for it. I've known so many people who go to therapy and have found it so helpful. Of course, Nick has before too. So BetterHelp is trying to do that for you online. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Join the millions of people who are seeing what therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and the Kind of Funny Morning Show listeners can get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/morning. That's BetterHelp.com/morning. BetterHelp.com/morning. Our next sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, is Babbel. For most of us, learning a second language in high school or college wasn't exactly a high point of our academic careers. Hello, my name is Greg. I took French in high school and in college and immediately forgot everything after I took the tests to get the gen ed requirements I need. And I'm like, I'll never need to learn French again. And then I fell in love with and married a woman from Quebec. And her first language is French. And her family primarily speaks French. And it's a struggle. And I wish I had done more with it. But I've been using Babbel, ladies and gentlemen. Babbel, of course, is the #1 selling language app that's addictively fun and easy to learn a new language. Whether you'll be traveling abroad, connecting in a deeper way with your family, or just have some free time, Babbel teaches bite-sized language lessons that you'll actually use in the real world. Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. The way I've been doing it, right, is that in between maybe starting a video game for the night, or even when I have a downtime during the day, just popping on the couch, turning on Babbel, putting in my headphones and going. Babbel designs their courses with practical, real-world conversations in mind, things you'll get to use in everyday life. Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel lessons were created by over 100 language experts. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective. With Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and German. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you to improve your pronunciation and accent. Start your new language journey today with Babbel. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you get an additional 3 months for free. That's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to Babbel.com and use the promo code MORNING. That's BABBEL.com, code MORNING, for an extra 3 months free. Babbel, language for life. And we're back. So, Mr. Kohli, how are you? What's been happening?
Oh, just been putting on weight.
Hey, I can relate.
Living that life.
Who can relate?
We was kind of on a really good diet and fitness regime for midnight mass, and then I got back. I did a movie, and then thought, I want McDonald's every day. I want to have hash browns delivered to my bed.
Fucking earned
Sure.
it, man.
I don't want to conform to the Hollywood body type. Maybe I want breasts, and I currently have them, and I'm enjoying them.
Hell yeah.
Is this tough for you? You've done this before where you finish the thing and you're like, I'm going to pig out. And get, like, is it harder to maintain or is it harder to come back from, I guess?
I mean, I think I'm getting to that point where age, like, I was always good at, like, I could binge, get big, and then lose it all just before a shoot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. One summer, one hiatus. I don't know. I don't know how much more. Everyone keeps telling me around me, like, your metabolism can't do this much longer. At some point, whatever you put on is just not going to go. But it's been okay so far, and I like the challenge because it kind of like it feels like. I don't know. It's like cramming for an exam. As soon as I'm like, oh shit, I'm not ready for filming. It just gets me in this kind of discipline work mode, I think.
Do you feel like it creates a new standard time-wise where before you're like, all right, I have 2 weeks before, let me get better about my eating, let me work out more. But have you gotten to the point where it's like, oh, let me maybe push that to 3 weeks now. Let me push it to like a month before.
Oh yeah. Like when I was younger, it was like just be cool for a week. Just don't have McDonald's every day.
Don't be
and then
disgusting.
Yeah. Whereas now it's like, okay, the diets are a lot more extreme, and you have to train just as much. And but I kind of, like I said, I kind of like it. I like the fluctuations, and it also feels nice to like be off a show and just not care and eat to your heart's content. And yeah, so no, that's about it. But I've been fairly busy. I'm just really enjoying some time at home, man. Like like when I spoke to Greg, I was in Vancouver in just a random's apartment, none of my stuff. So it's really nice when I get to come home, and I've been painting model kits and just been leisurely before I have to leave again.
Is home right now LA or London?
Yeah, I'm in LA.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's just been geeky, catching up on shows, DoorDash and model kits. That's it. Nothing else.
DoorDash and Perry.
When you're in Vancouver,
That
is
was good, Tim.
it tough to like see the internet talk about stuff and be like, I'll catch up to that whenever I'm back home?
I mean, yeah, like I still haven't watched Queen's Gambit. I usually mute a lot of stuff. I'll mute keywords if I know I'm not going to get around to it. Like Mandalorian for me was like unavoidable, so that was something I committed to just watching, even though I was working. And that I could do that, but for most shows, I also don't watch a lot of TV or watch film when I'm filming because I'm sick of it. I spend all day on set, and the last thing I want to do is watch another fucker's performance. Like someone else just chewing the scenery, and I can see everything. It feels like I'm still on fucking set. So, and I'm so tired that if I do something as passive as watch a show, I'm out. Like I'll fall asleep within 10 minutes. So, video games, I play more games, I think, when I'm filming than when I'm so now's the time to like, now I'm catching up on all the documentaries. Now I'm like, let's watch this, and catch up Invincibles and whatever. I'm trying to get my
You got so much great stuff to catch up on too.
I know.
The QAnon documentary.
Yeah, I mean, and did you watch it?
Oh yeah, I loved what's his name? Fred? No.
Frederick Brennan or whatever the guy that started 8chan.
Yeah, he came off pretty good. Wasn't keen on.
I was gonna say the rest of the people did not come off well. No,
that father-son combo was weird.
Yeah, Tim, have you started watching this yet, or do you have any interest in watching it?
Not yet. Yeah, we're gonna watch it. But
it's a very well made documentary, but it makes me simultaneously happy and also like a little. I'm not even gonna say this point. It makes me very happy that I've never gone on 4chan or 8chan or any of the chans. I watch it. I'm like, I think a long time ago I made a joke about 4chan, and I think Tim was like, Nick, just stay away. Stay away.
We know you don't know what that is.
Like,
don't do that.
Good. Okay. Good. I'll stay away from that. But yeah, very well made documentary.
It's a good rule of thumb to stay away from anywhere that people post their manifestos. When you hear the word manifesto, probably
stay
don't
away.
visit
Stay
it.
to avoid.
Stay away. Yeah. I will say is to recommend another one that I recommend to the guys. The Tina Turner documentary on HBO right now is it's so good. And if you're a fan of her work at all or her music at all, you will probably be crying by the end of it. Very well.
I don't want to cry. I want to.
She made it as a thank you to her fans because she's.
Is it just
the one
about
that got me was the Tiger Woods one.
Oh God!
Damn,
I need to watch
that.
One.
That was a hard one to get through.
That caught me off guard, especially like, and obviously on the most smallest scale possible. In terms of like being a public figure and your interactions with fans and followers, etc., I wasn't expecting to feel a ways, and then watching how we as an audience are so interested in your rise and downfall, and how much we love that downfall, that tipping point. It was scary. That was, it feels like, as soon as you get successful, that thing you're striving for, as soon as you achieve that, it's a ticking clock before they get bored of you. And it's like, all right, now we want to see you get that, take down a few pegs. And it was more harrowing than I expected it to be.
And not
it's
only
crazy
that, but
watching it after the Last Dance, the Jordan documentary too, because like I'm so not familiar with sports, but I watched both the documentaries and was riveted by the Jordan one, and the Tiger Woods one I enjoyed. I didn't like it nearly as much, but
it was a lot darker
it was
than I thought.
scary, and it's like it's just there's moments where I'm like I'm uncomfortable with this. Like this sucks,
and that's because the Jordan one was
produced by Jordan,
overseen by Jordan.
Totally.
It still got into controversial things, but the Tiger Woods was definitely not him. Like it is definitely somebody else making this sort of profile on him.
And also, like, how crazy relevant is it now, though? Like, you see this sort of like self-destructive nature, and then I think what was like 2 weeks ago, he got in that massive car crash, or 3 weeks ago, and you're like, "Fuck, man, someone's got to get this guy some help." Because
he thought he was in Florida.
I don't know if is that what happened? I didn't read as to whether or not they knew if there's a cause or whatever for it, or what was going on with it. But I in my brain, I'm like, God, I hope that's not something that I hope it's not because of any substances or anything like that. But
Well, I mean, it's hard to not go there. Like, you want to
Right.
give him the benefit of the doubt. You want to hope and assume that he's gotten better, but it's kind of human nature to be like, ugh, I hope he didn't revert back to any old stuff because the painkillers or whatever it may have been. It's really reckless to do that shit, but it's also, when you have that past, it's hard to not think that.
But like, isn't it crazy now that we have like this thing called the internet, which is this like all powerful double-edged sword where it can propel people and then it can be used as a tool to tear those people down. But then like in the case of Britney Spears, it could also be used to like re-educate us on what is and is not cool to do to another human being. And like you're seeing all these people, like I think like I'm obviously guilty of this because I jokingly talk a lot of shit, but I'm sure that contributes to some of the negative behavior toward people like that. But like with Britney, I mean, Rahul, you're right. Like there is something as a collective that we go, we want to prop you up until you're too big, and then when you turn that corner, we're all gonna jump on you. But like now you look at that, and you're like, man, that is such a horrible thing to do, and how do we fix that? How do we as a species
Nick,
just stop doing that to people?
The thing that makes me more sick, right? Because we know like we as humans we love blood sports, right? I know like we are entertained by everyone rubbernecks on the highway. You want to see a mangled, you want to see that. You want to see a car crash, and just the same with celebrities or anyone, like you want to see car crashes happen. We get excited when some celebrity tweets something chaotic and everyone's like, "Ooh, how's this going to unfold? What's the drama? When's the statement coming out?" But the part that I find the sickest is like, so we get excited by someone's work and their impact on the industry, right? And we binge them, we prop them, we take them right to the top. And as soon as we feel like we're ready and we've had enough of them, we watch that drop. Fine, I get that, and we enjoy that car crash. But the point that makes me sick is then we watch them try and rise out of that, and then champion them like we weren't responsible. Like it's like, no, good on you, Britney. Good on you for beating. We did that. You did that. Like, and now we get to be holier than thou and go, hey, good to see you. You made it out of that shit we put you in, and I just find that the sickest part. The redemption.
There's Allison Stoner, who you guys probably know as the little girl in the Missy Elliott videos that would dance,
right?
And she was also in a whole bunch of Disney Channel stuff growing up or whatever. She's fantastic. She's awesome. Still dances. Still makes great content. Last week she put out a video called "The Toddler to Trainwreck Industrial Complex." And it's 15 minutes. I recommend everyone watch it. It's really, really fascinating, really dark, really scary. I'm just going to read the description right now. This is about abuse. For the folks who click on the Where Are They Now articles, I'm here. We're here. This is your first time hearing my story, but it's our millionth time asking you to listen. Together, we can change the narrative and help prevent another child from falling victim to the toddler to train wreck pipeline. No matter what has happened to you, there's a way to reconnect with yourself and reclaim your story, your voice, and your authority as your own. That's what I'm doing today, and I'm thankful for all the thoughtful discussion and support. And then there's like a whole bunch of just different links to articles and links to like support change and like groups and stuff for, these people that kind of have their identity taken from them because when they're young, put into these entertainment
it's
positions, and then just there's literally like an entire pipeline and workflow to get people, and then just kind of toss them aside and not be there for them and give them support that they need and all that stuff. And it's so dark. And like again, like Nick's talking about the internet double-edged sword thing, it's like this is now just this newer thing of everyone has a voice. So people can speak up for the first time. People can support people for the first time in a way that before it was, if the media isn't telling you it, then nobody realizes there's a problem. And when the media is just talking about Britney going crazy, there's no one saying, hey,
right.
What about the other
just
side?
Think, whatever. You can disassociate yourself from it, right? But then when you see that person themselves, you're absolutely right, Tim. Like years later, go, hey, this is actually what I was going through. Yeah. It really, really, really is an eye opener. And like I have been one of those people that does click on those articles, like where did Alex Winter go, or these people who were these child actors. And I'll tell you where they went. They all grew up, and they're either in the film industry or they started making documentaries about how abused they were when they were kids.
Did you see Kid 90 yet? The
I
Soleil
did.
Moon
The
Frye
Soleil
one?
Moon Frye.
Yeah,
I did.
Same idea, right? Of like, holy shit.
The what?
Like,
The what?
Celine Moon Fry, she was Punky Brewster
Yeah.
on TV when
Oh.
Nick and I were growing up. She was a big deal. And then, yeah, like overnight, like her whole thing is like she started developing. And so she went from being the little cute orphan Punky Brewster to being immediately cast in, she's the slut, she's the whatever. And then it was
Right.
like she was like less than 13 or whatever and had developed, and everybody was being super creepy and gross to her. And she filmed everything. She had a camcorder and filmed everything. So she has all these home videos of her, you know, with her boyfriend who's in Cypress Hill, right?
The lead singer of Cypress Hill. I forget his
Yeah.
name.
Excuse me.
Totally, yeah.
So,
when it
yeah,
popped
so,
up, I
like,
was like, wait a second, what?
what's-
And then she's also talking to all of her other child co-stars and stuff like that, and like Mark Paul Gosselaar and a whole bunch of different people. But then it's
Brian
like
Austin Green, all the
people
all the
start
that were, like,
dying. Like her kid friends are all committing suicide, and like it's that thing that she didn't realize how fucked up that was in the moment. But going back and opening up this chest of drawers and her diaries and reading through her sexual assault that she totally had like pushed off as just like, oh well, you know, like we were dating and I didn't want to, but that not understanding that was rape, and like this whole like fucking chest of issues that in the moment, you know, your other friend who's another actor and seems to has it all, you know, kills themselves with drugs, alcohol, or just suicide on purpose. Like, it's fucked up.
The big one for me was the one that hit home for me was the one that I was able to easily just kind of dismiss because I think his career had sort of it gone in not as mainstream as it was when I first remembered him. But like seeing her talk about, damn, I'm blanking on his name, but the actor from Neverending Story 2.
Yeah.
Jonathan.
You're right. You're on the right
Brandis.
Yes,
Yep,
Jonathan Brandis. Seeing her like hanging out with him in their own home video and be like, yeah, he was my friend. Like they were all because Tim, they were all going on these. I mean, Rahul can probably speak this. Like you go on auditions with all these people. They're in the industry, but of course, when you're young, you can't leave. You have like you're just there, and so all of them were friends. Like they were friends with Brian Austin. She was friends with like Brian Austin Green from Beverly Hills 90210. But they're kids, and so looking back on it, you know, she's like, yeah, I as an adult who has children, I look back on his like cries for help, and I see those, and I'm so sad that I couldn't like help him, but I was 14, 13. Like, what are you gonna do? You know.
An interesting thing with that, talking about the death side of things, this Allison Stoner thing I'm talking about, like she goes into how often she's been on lists or like things have happened where it's like, oh, she's dead. And it's like, that's just a thing that with celebrities, like there's gossip that starts of like, oh, this person died or whatever. Like even recently DMX dying, it's like, it comes out on Twitter, he's dead. And it's, oh, he's not dead. Now he's actually dead. But how many times has that happened? And it's total bullshit just made up. And she's going into like, she talks about how crazy it is. She's like, can you imagine having to deal with people thinking you're dead, including your people that you love and care about, that are reaching out to you because they saw something and they think you're dead. Like you get to understand how people are going,
that is.
Yeah, exactly. And like, and it doesn't just happen. She's like, it hasn't happened once. It's happened many times, and it's happened so many times to people I know. And it's like, that's so fucked up.
Forget who it was.
Imagine how
Like,
traumatic it would be if no one reached out.
That too.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Yeah,
so many sides to this.
Like it's you're having to deal with.
I forget who it was, but like 2 years ago, someone was like reported some big. I think it was a big older actor. They reported that he was dead, and he replied to the tweet, "I assure you, I'm not. Like I'm most assuredly not dead." And everyone's like, I don't know how to deal with this."
Videos like this always kind of go viral around discussions like this. We always get the Denzel Washington thing saying, you know, in the news, it's not if you're right, it's being there first. And you'll see people always make claims and go out there and try to break the news first because they want to be the first people to tweet about that news.
They want all the retweets, yeah.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's rarely.
Hold on, wait, Rahul, what was that?
Oh, so sorry. I was just the same thing happened with you saying it come first. Wasn't there an actress who died recently? I know even her husband told the manager that she was dead, but she went to sleep, and everyone was who
There was
it?
somebody. Yeah, shit. It was somebody. I remember seeing the clip. Like the guy was getting interviewed by like Inside Edition when the phone rang, and it turned out she wasn't dead.
Yeah, and then she died. She did die. She died.
She did die, and she did pass away.
I can't remember.
Damn, I have no idea. That's fucking awful. It sounds terrifying. But
anyway, sorry.
yeah,
Shout
that
out
Denzel
Popeye
video
Fellas.
always goes viral. And then whenever we talk about just how we treat other people,
Tanya
and how-
Roberts. Yeah, Tanya
That's
Roberts. who
right.
You would
Oh,
know
it was
from that 70s show.
and
Yeah,
James
yeah.
Bond.
Oh,
She
right,
didn't
right, right.
die, and then her husband thought she was dead, and the news report. And sorry.
Got it. The other video that always goes viral is the Craig Ferguson monologue from 2007, and that kind of always resurfaces whenever we talk about. Well, it especially went viral when the Britney documentary was released, because Craig Ferguson is on stage on his night show whenever he had his show on NBC or whatever, and he's monologuing to the audience and talking about how people drove Britney to this point, and how the abuse and how the media, everybody making fun of her. And he was like, "What the night that she shaved her head marked my, I think, like 15 years being sober or something like that." And he goes, "So I've been where she was. Like, I've been in that place before." And and it's so weird that this video is like so old, and he even references, "No, let's leave the comedy to making fun of politicians and Trump." Like, he mentioned Trump in 2007 as somebody to make fun of, which is like just kind of hilarious and weird. But then he's like, "From now on, no more Britney jokes. Like, we're not doing that anymore. We're not putting these people in those positions and ridiculing them and making them fucking lose it, you know?" And it's just so crazy how current this video still can be, and how it just still feels so relevant nowadays. I remember when there was a Twitch streamer that last year committed suicide, and it wasn't Etika. It was another Twitch streamer who was like very, very depressed and ended up committing suicide. And there was like maybe 2 weeks of the internet and other streamers being like, "Everybody, we need to be better. We need to stop ridiculing each other." And you were seeing some really neat back and forths from people that had beef that were like, "Hey, I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry for all the shit I ever talked about you. Like, hey, I appreciate that. I'm sorry for the things that I said." And it was like, "Oh, wow, this is nice." And then live stream fails, which is a very, very popular subreddit, which just is usually just a bunch of dumb clips. At that point, I believe they were like, "Hey, no more drama. We're not doing drama clips anymore on this website. Like, you're not going to see Twitch clips of people talking shit about other streamers, or, you know, just being really, really mean and ill-spirited. It's just going to be dumb videos of people fucking up in video games, or, you know, talking to each other." So I feel like you always kind of get a small time frame of everybody, we're at
Ceasefire.
peace.
Yeah.
Ceasefire, we're all good. And then, unfortunately, more, you know, shit happens, and then we're back to our old ways, and it's just, that shit always bums me out, you know.
Well, I do think it's an education process, and you talking about the Craig Ferguson thing. It's like, whether that's 2007 or now being retweeted and repromoted now, it's like, it's going to be a lot of people's first time hearing that message and even thinking about it that way. And I think that we're here, and we're luckily, all of us are in a position where it's 2021 and we have the life experiences we do, and perspective, and have listened to and talked to enough people to have grown and changed our opinions on things. But it's like, you know, we were at some point, all of us were part of some Britney situation. It might not have been Britney itself, but it's like, you don't know that what you're saying is hurtful, and not just hurtful to her, but hurtful to others, until someone says, "Hey man, that's insensitive, and here's why." And then you have to think it through, and then you start to change the way that you speak going forward, because you're not trying to be insensitive, or at least hopefully that's the goal. And that, to me, I think is the most important thing, because like, everyone has experiences that you don't know about. And until you know about them, like, everyone needs to be given that chance to learn and to listen, to understand there is a perspective that's not theirs, whether it's cultural, or whether it's, you know, about drug issues or family issues or any anxiety, depression, all of these things. Like, listening to people and applying that to yourself going forward to dealing with others, I think is the only way that we're going to get better. And those moments of truces, those moments of people kind of coming together, still need to be looked at and celebrated, because even though it might seem like it's, then it's just back to the same shit, I bet you it affected thousands of people that are now acting better, acting differently, and are going to be more part of these type of conversations to hopefully inspire others to listen and change.
You'd like to think, right, that's the upside to social media. And for all the flaws and all the things it can lead to and get out of control with, right? It is that idea that it gives celebrities or anyone in the spotlight a chance to be human. And I think that's what's always been missing for the longest time. And especially when I was growing up, you know what I mean? You're talking about like tabloid magazines and Entertainment Tonight and yada, yada, yada. And again, watching people rise and then crash out. And that was like, you know, this show, and you were along for the ride, let alone then to get behind the music or something like that. The idea that people are able to to show that they're a human being. Like I think what always sticks for us, and granted we've cultivated a community and an audience and personalities this way, is the idea that obviously we read every comment. Obviously I see most of your tweets. So like if you're talking shit or being mean, like I'm a human being and I see that and that affects me, right? And I think that for a while that was something people held as a online creator thing or internet YouTube person kind of thing, or whatever IGN or author thing, when in reality it's the same way for actors, right? It's the same way for directors. Like they can, and maybe, I mean, obviously they have, depending on their celebrity, way more tweets to go through or Instagram comments to go through, but they are human beings and they do see that. And even if the movie was shit that they were in, they tried their hardest to be part of it and be good in it. And like, to see that get dragged over the coals for it is going to have an effect. And you start having to try to, I hope we educate people on how to talk, you know what I mean? And spread a message. And, I know when to this day still, when I see a movie and I tweet at the people who were in it that I really liked, I'll get people on that thing. I'm just like, you're just trying to get them on the podcast. You're just trying to clout chase or yada, yada. And it's like, no, I know that that's a fucking person. And also hopefully the fact that I'm verified means that they'll see it in their verified feed and they'll understand that, hey, this actually resonated with somebody. And again, it's not just the person shooting off their mouth on Twitter expecting me never to see this, that I suck, that they want to know that something went right.
Rahul, how many times are you, like, in your Twitter mentions, do you deal with, oh, Rahul, I fucking loved you in this thing, but I fucking hated that other person, terrible actor, and they tag them both, and you're like, why would you think I wanted to see this?
The tagging of it it kills me, because I guess like
they think they're doing you a favor.
well, also I just think you cease to be a human. Like I think people can justify stuff. Like one, it's you won't see it anyway. Why would they see it? So fuck it. And I think the other thing is well, you got money, so you're bulletproof. You're bulletproof because you make more money than this person. You're bulletproof because you're in the public eye. And so because you can walk down the street and high five someone over your work, that means that you should have a thick enough skin, that this is part of it. So the meanness is packaged with the dream. And I think people seem to think that is part of the job description is be actor or musician or whoever, athlete, be lauded over, have fans, but that also means eat shit. And there isn't really much empathy with the eating shit part. I think they think it's part of the job description. And it's not, obviously. I mean, yeah, I get tagged and stuff. Like, I mean, just and sometimes I look at the stuff I get said, and usually it's the backhanded ones. Like you can usually spot the troll. It's the backhanded ones that will be like, you were good in this, much better than when you were in that show. That was a piece of shit. And then you're like, huh, okay.
You don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
The issue I have is that like I've always strived for an authenticity. I am what you see is what you get. The only thing that's probably false about me is that I'm probably quieter in person, obviously. Twitter is different. It's like a diary, right? I don't say every thought out loud. But other than that, it's pretty much me. And like I can't help but read everything and then feel like these are being said to me in person. I don't have a disconnect between the internet and then real life. I think us pretending that there is a disconnect, it's gone way past that. Maybe in the old days, AOL chat rooms, that internet, it was two worlds and there were avatars and you were hiding behind your computer and we can keep them separated. No, that's changed. We're past that. We're beyond that. And the way that we talk to one another, and I think the way that we look at even policing the internet has got to change. That if you repeated some of the things that you tweet an individual, if you repeat them in the streets, you will suffer legal ramifications. Just recently, the onslaught of racial attacks on football players it's just risen exponentially. Like N-words and monkey emojis and all of this stuff, and this is just happening there, and nothing happens. And I've reported accounts, and people have posted screenshots of Instagram going, "We found nothing
Violates our rules of service.
Yeah, nothing violates." Do that in person, you will be arrested. And I don't. So so even for myself, like even when even when it's mild, and someone's like, oh, such and such was crap in this, or you could have done better with that. My shit's so I'm so sensitive. I'm always like, man, if you said that to my face, we're having a fight.
Yeah.
That's because I talk to everyone how I normally talk to. That's how I talk to you in person, and I haven't got that disconnect. So for me, I find it it's quite a volatile. I can't write it off as it's the internet. It's still a human being that typed those words. So it's a bit raw for me.
I think that's the shift, right? Is that, the internet still is a new thing. And I think that we are all now realizing as we're growing with it that things that we kind of just took for granted or like just took as like, oh, well, this is the way it is. There's no way to change it. It's like, well, no, we can change it. We need to change it. And for so long, it was just like, yeah, it's part of the job, getting all the hate. But it's like, you're right. It's not part of the fucking job.
It doesn't have to be. Yeah, exactly.
And not only does it have to be, like, it fucking can't be. Fuck that. Like, that's not what we signed up for. I know we always talk about, we're on the Kevin Smith thing, and it was sorry, to give some context to that, when we first left IGN to become Kind of Funny, we were on the Kevin Smith podcast, and he gave us the advice of like, remember, when it's hard, you asked for this. And for the longest time, I think that I kind of related that to when I'm seeing shit comments or when I'm seeing tweets or whatever the hell it is. Just remember all the good things we asked for this, whatever. It's like the longer I went on thinking about it, it's like, it's not about that at all. It's like, it's all the other hard, difficult things that actually come with what we do, and like having to care for our team, having to care about the people, our family that we work with. It's like, that's fucking hard. That's the thing that I have to remind myself. I asked for this when I'm up late at night, like making sure that we are doing the best that we can and all that stuff. Fucking reading these tweets and feeling like the way that I feel seeing them, because I'm like you, Rahul, I can't turn it off. And I read every fucking comment because I want to know what's being said, because I want to fix things for the group. And it's like, it fucks me up. And it fucks me up on behalf of other people. When I see people talking shit about, or not even talking shit, when I see just people being vile around or towards my friends and you guys or anyone around us, I'm just like, it hits me. I stay up at night. I can't deal with it. And it's like, This isn't part of the fucking job. This isn't something that can ever be asked of somebody to have to deal with. It's not fucking okay.
Yeah, I've gotten past the whole, like, welcome to the internet thing. It's like, nah, man, like, it really shouldn't be that way. And again, I think Raul mentioned it perfectly of like, no, that's a person who typed that. That's a person maybe with a family, maybe lives with his parents, maybe lives with her husband or whatever. Like, that's a person that typed that thought that it was okay to do that. And it just makes you think like, what's wrong with people? Like, what's wrong in your life that took you to that point to make you want to say such a thing that is, it's one thing to say I'm not funny on this video or whatever, be like, oh, Andy fucking sucks, get him out of the video. But it's another thing to be just super racist towards somebody or super transphobic or super homophobic. Like, those are the ones that it's like, God damn, dude, you need to reflect on yourself. You need to fix shit in your life because you are you're obviously not a good person. Like, is this who you want to be, really? Those are the thoughts that always go through my head, man.
Yeah, that's
everybody do better.
Yeah, Rahul's point of like, I think the basic core tenet for me and for I think a lot of people should be is like, if you don't feel comfortable saying it to someone's face, then you shouldn't be saying it on the internet. I think that's generally a good rule of thumb. So like, if you're really fired up about something and you really have a problem with someone and you're willing to potentially have the cops called, then okay, you really believe in that thing, and maybe that's a thing that you stand by and that's part of your morals. But yeah, I don't know. I do feel like, I think Greg told us a story one time. That's Greg right there, biggest gamer and Kind of Funny. He told a story one time about people that were in the comments, and then when you finally responded and like let them know, hey, I'm a real human being who's seeing this, how quickly they would change their tune sometimes. And I think that's a reality. So like, if and that's something that, I mean, I'm not saying like other people are doing this. Like, I'm obviously, like, I don't post a lot on social media, but I try to be aware of what that words matter, right? And that even a joke misunderstood or poorly worded can bum someone out, and like, I don't know, I just feel like the internet can be a supremely positive place, and social media can be really it can be a lot of fun, right? It can be a lot of fun talking shit back and forth to your friends on Twitter and having a good time like that. But you got to just realize if you're doing that, don't dip into the negative. Don't dip in that dark side of you.
That's the thing about it, right? Is it's a choice between positive and negativity, positivity and negativity.
I'm struggling with that. I was having this talk the other day. I'm losing the trade-off. Reading so I wrote a tweet a few days ago, and everyone assumed that I was talking about the racial abuse that I was suffering. I wasn't. I didn't suffer any. I did not receive a single comment that was racially motivated. I didn't get any hate that day. I had just read someone else's feed. It was a footballer's. It was a Korean player, plays for Tottenham, and he feigned an injury. And then the amount of racial slurs that were written on his Instagram post, I just saw it and decided, and it was the first time I had decided that I was going to not go on the app for a week or 2 days or whatever the hell. I just needed to get away. And it wasn't because it was directed at me. That was just me seeing something else and going, this is starting to fucking bum me out. Because before it was about me, before it was about just, you can be shitty, just don't be shitty to me. And now it's like, now when I see like our friends online, or I see this, or like it's starting to just be so what's the word I'm looking for? It's so regular and normal, and every day one of our friends is having to deal with, or someone we know, or someone we respect, or whatever, someone is dealing with this toxicity. And for me, fucking cat videos doesn't balance it. Like, all I use the internet for in terms of positivity, my favorite thing in the world is watching people make dope shit. I watch sculptors, painters, model kit makers. That's where the internet's fantastic. I learned guitar from it. But it's the pendulum, that seesaw, that thing has just swung way out of balance, and no amount of like, oh, that's a really satisfying video, or look at this toddler seeing his dad come home from the war. It's not balancing for me anymore. It's starting to be like, no, this place sucks. This isn't a good trade-off anymore. And maybe again, like,
I'm going to get you on TikTok with that algorithm, man. The
That's
algorithm
true.
will treat you real
No,
well.
man, not to spoil Q, but remember the final, like, who was the final culprit for the storming of the Capitol? They're like, it was the fucking algorithms. The algorithms are all to blame for all this stuff. It's just putting all these people in echo chambers together so they can rile each other up. Sorry, Tim, I spoiled it for you.
It must be said, like,
It's real life.
That's not the end. That's not like the final screen, Tim. You're all right. Don't worry.
I think the only thing I'm hanging on to is the fact that, if you all remember, maybe a month into quarantine last year, we all felt, oh, this place just got really shitty. It got more shitty. And we knew why, because it was new. We were like, oh, everyone's short-tempered. Gal Gadot did that video and she got slammed. Like, we were sensitive about everything. And I think what's happened is that we're still shitty, but we've just forgotten that it's also the times. Like, it's easy to feel like now this was always like the internet. I do think that's my positive note, is like, I do think it is a product of the times right now. I think we are angrier and bored and cooped up, and that is motivating a lot of like arguments and stuff. So I'm hoping that once the world opens up and everyone gets some air and touch some grass, that we chill out a bit. But I can't take it anymore.
I hear you. Yeah, I think that's the toughest thing about it. And it's been, something I've talked about for the longest time, but I think rings true now, is like, now more than ever, I think you need to try to be the change you want to see. You got to fight for that, and you got to put out positivity. And I know it's hard. Obviously, I have plenty of days where I'm not in the mood and not trying to do whatever. But it is that thing of like, it's kind of like how I felt about the IGN comments, right? Of like, I refuse to give up the ground. Like, I know I'm losing this fight, but I'll do it. And like, we're privileged, obviously. The chat's been going off of like talking about how they've been going as we go live here on Patreon about how how the internet abroad is so hard, but like Kind of Funny's community is so great. And obviously we have flare-ups, and we have all sorts of dipshits that come into the YouTube comments that aren't a Kind of Funny best friend, clearly, and talk all sorts of shit. But for the most part, you're able to cultivate a community of people who do want to hang out and talk and be not blindly positive, but have conversations even when they disagree. But it is that thing of, the rest of the time, or who's going to come at you randomly on Twitter, or who you're going to see in another subreddit, or what's going to go on like that, of like, you raise a great point that I still lose sight of, even a year plus into the quarantine, right? Of like, why did I wake up pissed off today? Why am I'm in a shit mood and I just woke up with my beautiful wife and my stupid dog. Why am I cranky? Why do right. Like I still can't go see my family. I still can't send my wife to see her home country. I can't et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right. And there's still so much going on that we are able to quickly adjust to because we're humans and life has to go on, but doesn't mean it's normal. It doesn't mean that it's an actual reality.
I do like though that a lot of the feedback lately has, and I think it's just been a matter of blocking the people you need to and getting them out and telling them. Like, I think making that stance has been really beneficial to us and our mental state. I know it was kind of tough at first, but to be like, hey, if you feel this way, we don't want you here. Please go away. And I do like that lately the feedback has been Andy's take on this game is wrong, or Tim's feeling about this movie is wrong, as opposed to, oh, what?
These soy boys don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, like I'd much rather that be the issues that people are having in the comments as opposed to how we feel about valuing human lives.
See, that's more akin to real life. What you're talking about. That's the kind of constructive criticism or conversation that you would have with someone, in real, it's usually respectful. You don't agree with someone just because they're standing in front of you, but there's a way in which you discuss that and approach that. And again, I take solace in knowing that, like, I don't really get that much hate, but I know there are people out there, especially now as I had as my profile raised just a little bit more than iZombie. I know there are people who don't like me, and for all the shit I've been sent and has been said to me over the years, not a single one of them happened in person. Not a single time when I was out did anyone come up to me and go, "Hey, you fucking suck," or this or that. And that tells me something. And that's like, oh, okay, it isn't. Do you know what I mean? Like it
100%.
It is. It's definitely contained to here. So there's something about your anonymity.
Oh,
because it's not happening in real life.
Well, for sure.
That was the thing for the longest
someone sees you in person, they're like, "Oh, fuck, he's tall."
Well, it's also just how you don't talk to
boxes.
human beings that way. I remember that always being the case of people hating me at IGN. And then I'd go to PAXs and I'd walk in every, show, but PAX being a public show, walk that floor and people freak out to see me and be excited to see me. And no one ever talks shit, right? And not that I'm asking you to come talk shit to me. It's just like, oh, this is how normal interactions go. You'd see me on the floor and be like, oh, I don't like his content, but I'm not going to stop out of my way to be like, you're fucking terrible at presenting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Like, it just doesn't
you guys should do stand up more. The crowds, when they don't know you, they're not afraid to give you that feedback.
You entered Thunderdome. You punched your own ticket on
Too
that.
bad. That's very true. That's
This is what you
court
wanted.
that chaos for sure.
Something that I really don't like is, Greg often says be better. And I feel like that's kind of turned into a kind of funny catchphrase of sorts. And I often see people jump on that and quickly try to point out some type of hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Like, or some type of like holier than thou, or thinking that we're on a high horse or this or that. And like, I think, and they'll be like, well, how can they say this when they've also said X, Y, and Z and things? And I think that a key thing to think about and like try to connect with is that it's not well, they did this, they're saying this now. It's what are they trying to say going forward? Like, what is the growth happening? Like, what is the change from where things were? And it's also not I'm better than you. It is I've learned a lot and here's where I'm at. And it's funny. It shocks me often how many times I will be hanging out with people in real life that aren't internet people, and to hear words that they still say or takes that they still have.
Ooh, yeah, sure.
And I'm just like, I'm talking about San Francisco. I'm talking about people that I grew up with, and I'm just like, whoa, you didn't get the memo. And it's not necessarily like the worst things in the world, but it's still some things that are just like, oh, that's insensitive enough that we definitely should have got rid of that a long time ago. And like having those conversations with them in real life is a lot more difficult than sitting here talking to you guys when we, agree about it or are all in this together. It's like, because they feel like I'm calling them out. And that's where the hypocrisy comes in, is that it doesn't need to be an us versus you. I'm better than you. It's we should all be trying to be bettering ourselves. And we, again, need to listen to each other. And I think that a lot of the antagonism comes from when there's just one person saying something, they're fighting against many. But when more people are all saying it together, then it becomes a little bit easier to say it and stand with it. And it doesn't feel like you're getting beat down. And so it's like a lot of times I see, again, people talk about like, oh, it sucks that they just have, 5 people with the same point of view on a show. It's like why don't we get someone from a different perspective? And it's like, well, some things don't.
Why don't they
need
put a
different-
racist on the show?
I mean, and at some point, that's what it feels like,
Yeah,
right?
it
But
does.
it's like beyond that, it's like if you can't find something to connect with the message of what we're trying to say with Be Better, it's like again, that's where it's like I hope we're not coming across like we're all holding hands and we're all against you as a person. It is join us, whatever that means for you, whatever that means to make yourself a better person that you think will better value society. But that's hard. And it's a hard thing to hear. And I'm not blaming anybody because the amount of times I've been called out and stuff and been like, Psh, what the fuck? There's no problem with me saying XYZ. 3 years later, I'm like, I can't believe I said XYZ.
Yeah.
I can't believe I fought that. I can't believe
Yeah.
I stood so strongly for my right to
Oh man,
whatever.
I've been down that road a lot of times, Tim. And I think you hit the nail on the head too, as far as like in-person reactions to those things. It's tough. And I've had, especially with the like last year's political climate and going into the election and talking and finding out maybe some of your friends' political ideals don't line up with yours, and you're sitting there and it's like, how do you rectify that? And if you can't do it with one of your good friends or even a family member, how the hell are we supposed to do it with people we've never met before on the internet who are just faceless eggs? So it's so tough.
I turned that setting on a long time ago. I don't have to see a faceless egg.
Well, you guys are a lot more savvy than I am. I don't think I've even blocked or muted anyone. But also, this is my next point. It's like Rahul, Rahul, you actually like care so much to stand up and stand for something. And I know that I've seen the reactions that you get, and I know that can beat you down. But just know that like I'm proud of you for that. And I think it takes a lot of guts to keep putting yourself out there like that and have those like morals that you stand for and be a person that can do that publicly. So if you got to take time off, man. But like, I appreciate you in that regard. I really do.
And doubling down on that, like I'll say, I put my pronouns in my bio because I saw Raul tweet, put my pronouns in my bio. Why aren't you doing it? Like, I forgot the exact words you had, but it was essentially just like, it's helping people. And it's just like one of those things where there would have been a time I'm like, why would I need to do that? I'm not I don't need to be validated. I don't need this to be about me. People are going to look at this, think I'm trying to make it about me, whatever. It's not about that at all. And once I had someone explain to me, it's like, no, it's about normalizing it, that this is something that we should need to know about people before just assuming things and all that. I'm just like, why the fuck don't I have it? Like, it's literally no negative for me, but positives for so many. Like, that's such an easy win.
So, Nick, like, I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. And where Tim, like what you're saying with the pronouns, the funny thing about all of that is that like, I wasn't born an ally. That information where I learned about normalizing having pronouns in your bio to make it easier for non-binary and the trans community to declare their pronouns, their preferred pronouns. By us all doing it, it means that no one stands out. We're all equal, right?
Mhm.
I didn't just fucking wake up. Like, I had to go. I didn't understand pronouns. Again, and I'm someone who is liberal, and when I catch wind of something on the internet, depending on how it's presented to me or who's presenting it, I can be quite dismissive myself. And I was very dismissive of the pronoun stuff. I was just like, what the fuck? Oh, fuck this. Well, I don't understand this. And then that's it. But that's not good enough for me. And like you talk about Be Better, that isn't good enough for me. What it ends up leading to is me going on a GLAD website. And the link was how to be a better ally. And that's being better. Okay, so I don't understand this. I'm not an ally. I have no fucking idea what's going on. But let me research this because I do not wish to continue being in the dark about this social issue. So I go and I read it myself. This is why you do it. This is what's helping. This is how and what you're doing for your community, for fellow people. Cool. So then I spread that message. the idea, the whole idea is like none of us. I've said dumb shit. I believed things a few years ago that I don't believe now. But the change isn't something that just fucking. It doesn't just happen every time you blow candles out on a cake. It happens because you listen, or you ask yourselves like, what is my issue with this community? Why am I don't understand this. What is, you know what I mean? And then you
Totally.
go and and that's what the internet should be for.
Mm-hmm.
What Black Lives Matter.
You just learn. Like,
exactly.
it's not hard.
My
I mean,
dad
and you expose yourself to those new ideals, right? And that's what I would talk about. Like one of the things that I've really just enjoyed about like venturing into stand up is that you are thrust into a world with a totally like all different walks of life going up on that stage. I mean, you're talking about people who are coming from like people who are coming from the same place in the world that I am, and people who are living in their car. And you see that, and it's not something that you can turn away from. It's not something that you can just be like, oh, it's the internet, so it's not really real, right? No. There's a person on stage right now that's going to go out and they're going to go sleep in their car if it's still there, if it didn't get towed. So stuff like that to me is, I think that's real world, and I think the more you can explain, it's scary, and it's something that you get you out of your comfort zone. But to your point, you start humanizing people more when you kind of expose yourself to that and realize, to our earlier point, that everyone in fact is a human being and deserves that respect. And maybe you don't see eye to eye with them with their particular issue, but as long as you're open to their perspective, I think that's a great first step.
Yeah, so getting feedback from trans people in DMs and
emails
and minorities emailing in and just saying like, hey, thank you all for doing this. Like beforehand, I'd never fully felt comfortable communicating in the subreddit or talking about my experiences on the Facebook group. Sometimes people would attack me, and I never really felt fully accepted. I love you all, but I never felt fully accepted. And now this has become a safer spot for me to come hang out in and chat with friends about video games and not have it be about anything else. Like, good Lord, during the Hispanic Heritage Month and teaming up with Latinx in games and then having Latinx be such a hot issue. It's like, why are we focusing on this? No, the amount of only Spanish speaking people coming at me for using Latinx in games, the amount of white people pretending to be minorities too. Like, it's like, I look at your profile, you're not a minority, that's happened before, but it's like, look, it's about inclusion. I am not trying to say that you have to use the term Latinx. I am not trying to do that. It is about inclusion. There are, and also just Spanish is just, it's just a very, very man and like everything is Latino.
Right? Yeah.
Everything is
Language.
Latino.
it's gender
gender.
It's very,
Or
very
Latina.
gendered. Yes. Yeah. Like if they've always mentioned, like, if there's a group of 5 women, that's a group of Latinas. But if you put one man in there, it's a group of Latinos. And it's just like, it sucks to begin with, right? I'm not trying to tell people you have to use Latinx. And the amount of replies of, oh, get your whitewashing bullshit out of this. It's like, Latinx was created by 2 Afro-Latina trans women in the 80s, and that's kind of the source of where it started. It's just to help out non-binary people who say, well, I don't really feel like I am a man or a woman. Cool, Latinx, like, perfect. We're not trying to push our ideals on anybody. It's just a term. And again, it's all about learning, because 3 years ago, I was I don't really understand the whole trans thing. I'm not really quite sure about what it means. And then you learn and you meet people, and maybe they need to meet people because I know a lot of trans people in my life, and they helped educate me on that. And maybe that's part of the issue. Maybe they need that human sort of connection as opposed to just reading up on something that they just disagree with,
Right. That's always the hope for all of the stories we share here, whether it be, Tim's talking about stuff a couple years ago, he would say they would never say now. You're talking about non-understanding trans. I mean, like, that's the whole point of us doing this and having this audio and visual record as we share our experiences with everybody. And the experiences we're able to go on are often fun and goofy, and Nick riding dune buggies with G Unit or whatever. But then there are also the people we're exposed to, right? And the perspectives we're exposed to, and the people we attract to the podcast to be able to bring their voices up and admit that we don't know everything and admit our opinions changed and try to make it better so that you, a person driving your car right now who will never leave the state you're in, because there's nothing wrong with that, will never meet a person of this or that, or when they do, you'll understand a little bit better what their perspective is, maybe, obviously, because you can't apply it to everybody, but it is that idea of our experiences and our growth being able to influence conversations for other people.
Good talk, everybody.
This podcast, 2 distinct halves. And that's how it often is, ladies and gentlemen, on the Kind of Funny podcast, each and every week, twice a week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on these microphones, each coming to bullshit about whatever it is they want to bullshit about. If you like that and want to be part of the show, you can go to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can write in with your topics of conversation. You can get the show ad-free. You can get it with the exclusive post show we're about to do, but it'll probably be pretty short because it's already kind of long, and I didn't book Rahul for a certain amount of time, so I'm not even sure if he's staying. And of course, you can watch it live on patreon.com/kindafunny. However, if you have no bucks to toss our way, it's no big deal. You can go to youtube.com/kindafunny, roosterteeth.com, and podcast services around the globe twice a week to get brand new episodes. Rahul, if people aren't coming to the post show, where can people keep up with you?
Social media.
Catch me in the streets.
I don't want fucking follows anymore. I don't know. Or just watch my shows.
Watch your shows. We'll always make sure. Midnight Mass, there's no date for that yet, right? I'm not trying to pin you down on anything. Yeah? Okay. One day they'll announce a Midnight Mass date, and we'll talk about it on shows, and we'll say, that's Rahul's show. Go watch that show.
And sometimes you do fundraising on twitch.tv/Rahul Kohli.
I do. That's true. Thank you, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
You're a good person, Rahul. We love you.
Likewise. I love you guys.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we got a post show to do. It's been our pleasure to serve you.